You may have solved plenty of puzzles and interesting riddles. Let us do something like that now. In this activity, you have to identify the text color of each word displayed on the screen. Watch out, you are not supposed to read the word. For example, for the first word yellow, say green. Wasn't that interesting? It is hard to ignore words and focus on other signals such as colors instead. Now, try another one. Try and read this sentence. You managed to read the sentence in spite of those incorrect spellings, didn't you? While you were having fun with these games, which part of the body was working hard to help you perform complex functions such as reading, analyzing, comprehending, and problem solving? Yes, it is the brain, the most amazing and complex organ of our body. Let's explore the structure and functions of the human brain. This is Stephen Hawking, a renowned British physicist. He is disabled due to a disease affecting the nerve cells in the brain. But this never hindered him from making important scientific discoveries. This case highlights the fact that different parts of the brain perform different functions. The brain is the most important control and coordination center of our body. It is this part that controls our movements and enables us to learn, remember, think, analyze, and respond to our surroundings. The brain and the spinal cord together form the central nervous system. The brain is located in the cranial cavity of the skull, which also protects this delicate organ. It is covered with 3 membranes called the meninges. The space between these membranes is filled with a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid that nourishes the brain cells. It also acts as a shock absorber. What do you think this delicate organ is made up of? The average human brain weighs about 1,400 grams, and it is made up of billions of nerve cells called neurons. The brain works in coordination with the peripheral nervous system that consists of nerves connected to various parts of the body. The peripheral nervous system comprises 2 types of nerves. One type that arises directly from the brain is the cranial nerves. The second type is the spinal nerves that originate from the spinal cord. These nerves send inputs and information to the brain. The brain analyzes the information and enables us to respond. For the sake of understanding, the brain is divided into 3 regions: the forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. Let's learn about each of these parts and their role. Cerebrum, the largest and the most sophisticated part of our brain, is associated with complex functions such as memory, association, thinking, and logical reasoning. the outer layer of the cerebrum is wrinkled or folded. This increases the total surface area of the brain, thereby increasing its efficiency. The cerebrum is divided into two hemispheres, the right and the left. The right hemisphere of our brain is believed to be controlling the left side of our body, and the left hemisphere controls the right side. Each hemisphere has 4 lobes: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. The frontal lobes around our forehead govern functions such as speech, problem-solving, and movement. The parietal lobes at the top back of our head interpret sensations such as touch, taste, and pain. The occipital lobes, located at the back of the brain, process visual images. The temporal lobes, located just above the ear, deal with senses such as smelling and hearing. Before we learn more about the parts of the brain, let's look at an interesting control mechanism of our body. When it is hot outside, we sweat. This causes cooling. On the other hand, when it is cold, we shiver to generate heat. Our body acts as a perfect thermostat to maintain a constant body temperature. Similarly, our body gives us signals for responses such as thirst, hunger, pleasure, sleep, and many more. Which part of the brain controls these responses? These are controlled by an important part of our forebrain called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus also connects the body's nervous system with the endocrine system through its association with the master endocrine gland, the pituitary gland. The forebrain also has areas that control emotions. Our brain makes accurate determinations of sound locations using 2 ears. The midbrain is a small part of the brain that connects the forebrain with the hindbrain. The midbrain is an important center for the visual and auditory reflexes. Our hindbrain has 3 important parts: cerebellum, medulla, and pons. Let's look at the role of each of these parts. Look at these activities. Our body parts are capable of maintaining perfect coordination and balance when we move. This coordination and balance is controlled by the second largest part of our brain, the cerebellum. Any damage to the cerebellum results in loss of coordination. Which of these processes are involuntary? Click Show Answer once you are done. The heartbeat, breathing, digestion, and swallowing are involuntary processes that do not require thinking. These involuntary processes are controlled by the medulla oblongata, commonly called the medulla. Blinking protects our eyes from foreign objects and from dryness. Blinking is a reflex action that is controlled by our brain. Such reflexes are called cerebral reflexes. The medulla controls cerebral reflexes such as blinking, sneezing, coughing, salivating, and vomiting. The third part of the hindbrain comprises the pons. It is located below the midbrain in front of the cerebellum. The pons acts as a bridge or a relay center and conducts signals between the two hemispheres of the brain and also between the brain and the spinal cord. There are various methods of assessing the intelligence of animals. One widely accepted method calculates a value called encephalization quotient, or EQ. It uses the ratio of the brain weight to the body mass. This method puts human beings as the most intelligent of all.